This is the layout tutorial you've all been waiting for. So, what are you waiting for? Let's go! Hey, how's it going everybody? KidFlash360 here with another video here in Roblox. And this is a video you've all been waiting for, the layout tutorial. And here it is guys, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so for this one, I've used my other slot for this one to make the layout for you guys. Now, the building cost for this layout, the whole thing can cost up towards of $7,010,926. That includes helicopters, the two helicopters you would need like the one I have on my layout. Now, the parking total in this tutorial, you will need 27 parking spaces. That doesn't include the EV ones. The EV parking spaces, there's 10 of those because that's the maximum you can place. We can actually cut the cost down because this is for like late game players, right? So if you're like early mid game, you obviously won't have a lot of money. So the cost without EV parking, just the basic parking and the whole layout of the store. This doesn't include any of the shelving inside or checkouts or anything like that. It's just the build itself, and that costs just under $500,000. I would recommend to give yourself a little bit of leeway of around $150,000 just so you have enough money for extra shelving and extra security in your store. So as you can see, there's a massive difference. Okay, so to start off with this tutorial, I'm going to start by placing the parking. At the front, we simply place from the end of the pathway, so if you copy exactly what I'm doing here guys, then you should hopefully achieve the same thing as me. So 3 parking spaces right there, and another 3 on the left hand side, like so. And with this part here guys, this is why it costs like $7 million, because you also need the tram station, which costs $5 million, so that bumps up the price a lot. But like I said, this is for more late game players, so like I said, if you're early mid game, don't worry about the tram station because you won't have enough money for it. So only stick with the main parts that I'm showing you in the video for now. And then if we work on towards doing the other spaces, so go to the end here, and then simply place 5 parking spaces like so. And then we'll do the same on the other side. And also guys, feel free to pause the video wherever you need, so it makes it easier for you when building this. Okay. Now the store inside, which is what I'm going to show you now, you will need to go up 26 tiles by 22 tiles. So if we go along up to 26, like so, that will be the size of your store. And this should be 22, which it is. Perfect. And this will be the size of the store. And then another 22 along the top here. Now, to keep the cost down for you guys, I am using the cheapest materials possible when building this layout. Now when you build it, you might have more than 7 million, you might have 10 million, 20 million, you might have way more than I do. So this so you can choose any kind of flooring, any kind of walls, anything you like. This is just the bare minimum to keep the cost down so you have more freedom to build it the way you want. So far guys, the layout should look like this. We'll add another 10 parking spots right in here. We'll turn it around like so, and then put them down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 parking spaces, and then we'll add another 5 in the left side, in the top left side. like so, guys. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add the EV parking spaces. And for those who didn't watch my previous video, I highly recommend you to watch it. I'll put a link in the description just so you have just in case you haven't seen it. That the electric parking spaces allow richer customers to come into your store, so that way you can sell more expensive things a lot faster than you might normally. And then one more parking space at the end for the 11th space, and then that adds parking all around the entire layout of the store, like so. Now for the middle of the store, I'm just gonna highlight it so you know roughly where to put things, because the outer tiles before the grey tiles, you can't really put anything there. That allows customers in your store so you know there's enough room for when they come in. So then you're not blocking certain areas so that all the customers can access the entire store without walking around other objects. We will be adding an upper border as well, so that acts as walls, so that also customers don't complain about having no shelter in your store. Now this is kind of mandatory if you want to keep your rating more towards 5 stars. I would highly recommend for you to have roofing on top of your parking spaces. It might look a bit ugly, but if you want to get a good rating, you want to get a lot of sales, then that's what I highly recommend for you to do. So this is the actual bottom layer of the store. This actual layout is, I would say, the best layout because some of the richest players also use this type of layout, and that's how they've made billions of dollars in this game. So as you can see, this layout is a very good layout, so I highly recommend this layout to anybody, no matter if they're well in late game or early mid game. For beginners, I will make a beginner layout tutorial as well, because if you want to get up to the part where I am right now, then you're going to need to know how to make the money from the start, but that will be for another video. Also, like I said earlier, you can choose different colours, so I'm going to use wood. It doesn't cost any extra money, it is completely free, all these extra colours, so you do not have to worry about that. So I'm going to simply do it around the grey tile on the outside. As you can see right here, I'm not doing it in the inside tile, I'm doing it on the outside. Next I'll add the tram station. Now this is obviously optional for early mid game players, but this is a highly recommended option if you do have the money. I highly recommend it. You'll get a hell of a lot more customers and you'll be able to sell your products a hell of a lot faster. So now we have that in place, let's start building the roof. And you can also obviously you can change the roof as well. You can change a lot of things like this, but if you want to keep it, you know, like the default colors, you can also choose to do that. And if you have Game Pass, which I'll quickly show you, if you have Game Pass, you can also change the color to whatever you like, and you can also choose a lot more textures as well. So if you wanted foil or pebble, you can choose that on your walls if you really want to with the Game Pass. It does cost 300 Robux pretty much for this additional option, but it's not needed, so you don't necessarily need it. So we'll start by adding the roof like so, and I'm also going to cover the entire parking area as well. I'll go to the edge of the parking because obviously because the customers won't be going out in that other area, that other bit of area here, because there's going to be a block off point, so it forces the customers into your store. You can add roof here as well, entirely up to you. It might keep your rating higher, but I'm just going to do it this way just to save a little bit on money. So this is how the store should look right now. It doesn't look very great, but it works. Believe me, it works. So now we'll work on the parking blocking system. All you simply do here, guys, is just add ledges all around the back of the parking as well as on the parking lines, so that obviously customers don't mix in with other customers, so they just go straight into the store, because that is our goal. Now obviously round in here, guys, in the corner and all the other bits where there's no parking, you can add walls, you can add glass, you can add windows, whatever you want around here. This is obviously just a very, very basic layout system, which you guys can obviously change. And what I will also do, possibly in future videos, is add inspiration ideas for like this layout, so that you can have like a different styled layout like mine, and just to spark your mind on ideas that you might want to turn your store into. It doesn't necessarily have to be just a money machine, it can be a pretty money machine. So just like so, just block off all the parking like this. So the parking ledge system should look just like this. You can add walls, you can add literally whatever you like. So there you go. And keep repeating the process until you've done every parking spot on your store. And what I would also highly suggest, guys, is for you to actually add a border around the entire piece of land that you have. The reason for this is because sometimes some of the workers in your store will wander off, and we don't really want them to wander off. We actually want them to stay in the store. So like the security guards, for example, and the janitors, you only want them to obviously remove the rubbish inside of your store. As long as you keep customers and workers inside your store, you shouldn't have any problems outside of your store. It should only contain within inside your store. So the border should look just like this, guys, just going around the store like this. And this is what the layout should also look like as well. Like I said, pause the video wherever you want to, just so you can see it, so you can copy this, so you can follow with me. And another thing as well, you do not have to purchase completely max land for this store tutorial. You only need to purchase the land that I have purchased here, as you can see. You don't need to purchase these extra pieces of land at the back, or land game pass. You do not need to buy the land game pass either. This is a complete Robux free tutorial, by the way, only using in-game money. So the next part of the video then, guys, is the interior. There isn't much to it though, actually, guys, because these borders, these wall borders at the top here, this acts as a wall. So you can see that it looks quite bare on the outside, but really the customers think there's actually a wall here. So they will never ever complain about shelter, because there's a roof above everything, including the parking area, inside, everywhere. So that you should hopefully get a 5-star rating near enough all the time. Sometimes it will go down, it should fluctuate between 4.5 and 5 stars, but if it stays like that, you will make the most efficient money possible in this game. So I recommend for this, or for when you start out, I would suggest for you to upgrade this later on in the future. I would only place 2 of these normal checkouts, like so, both in the middle if you can, like so, right on the very edge there. So I would recommend you guys to place 4 of these self checkouts on each corner of the store, so that customers can cash out on each side, so that the customers can get in and out of their vehicles as quickly as possible, so you can earn the money as quickly as possible. Now if you don't have enough money for all 16 of these self-checkouts, then maybe only place 2 in each corner, or maybe even 1 checkout in each corner. I'm only doing this so that there is enough checkouts so that there's no queues, or little to no queues, as the store is running. So like so guys, there's 4 checkouts on each corner. In my main store I have 5, but I think 4 in each corner is more than enough. But if you feel that you do need more self-checkouts, or well, if you do need more checkouts, then you can add more. But when you progress further into late game, which I'll quickly show you, is to add another cashier on the back of the other one like this when you're more in late game. Because with the cashiers you cash out faster. That's what I've tested, and this is why I only have 4 of them and the rest self-checkouts, so it speeds the process up. So do it like this if you have the money to do so. But for right now I'm going to be deleting them. Obviously don't delete your ones if you have the money, but if you do have the money, then I would recommend for you to have 4 of them. Now the next part guys is shelving. Now for this tutorial I'm going to be using fruit, because this will give you 8 money trees. So once you've sold 10,000 of fruit, you'll get 8 money trees from each one. And I'm only going to be placing 2 in each corner. You might have already sold a lot of fruit, so if you have, then only go for the item that you prefer. But if you're just starting out, and if you guys who are watching this are new, just into mid-game, then I would highly suggest for you to go for fruit. And this is how it should look guys in each corner. I'm actually going to add additional ones as well, because there is 8 different items. There is 8 different baskets here. You may need a couple more so that you always have stock in your store for customers to buy, like so guys. So all I'm going to quickly do is just fill up these with every different type of fruit, like so guys. And don't worry about the cashiers, keep those as empty because they only take candy as well as maybe a couple other items. So I'll just leave those empty guys. So the next step guys is to add your workers. Now I'm going to add the 2 cashiers for the 2 checkouts. I'm then going to add 1 restocker, so just copy what I'm doing here guys. 1 janitor, 1 manager, 1 guard, 1 delivery driver. Now I have the semi-truck. You might not have enough for it, but just do what you can afford guys. And now the finance rep is optional. If you're doing exactly what I'm doing, don't add a finance rep because it's only fruit. But if you're selling something that has a lot more value to it, then add a finance rep. It will sell your other products a lot faster. And the cargo helicopters do cost $500,000 each. If you can afford them, buy them, but if you can't, that's absolutely fine. Get what you can afford really, and that's absolutely fine. Now what we're going to do now guys, now this is optional if you have this or not, but I'm going to be adding the truck at the back of the store. If you guys own any other vehicle like the helicopters, then put the helipad on the roof and you should be good to go. Now for the semi-truck you need it 3 by 14 like so. So 3 squares, so 3 tiles on the width, 14 tiles for the length. I'll also add a quick picture on screen for you guys like so, to show you what requires what space with the tarmac. So if you want just a small truck, which I don't recommend, I would recommend a big-ish truck like the Semi so that you can get stock in your store faster. But let's just say if you did add a truck, which I don't recommend like I said, then that's about 4 or 5 tiles or something. So I'll put that on screen just so you guys can see that, so you know exactly what you need guys. And what I also forgot to add guys was the ledges on each side here, so that it keeps the customers inside. So I'd highly recommend to add the ledge on each side like so. So just add extra roofing where the ledge ends where the 2 tiles are, so you can add a manager desk there if you want to, as well as the green bins. You can put the manager desk anywhere you like, guys, but just there will do just fine. And we're also going to add bins in our store as well, so the janitors can put the rubbish in the bins as quickly as possible. And what we'll do quickly, guys, is also add a sign, but I would recommend having a big sign like this one, guys. This actually attracts more customers in your store the better sign you have. And for the storage, guys, I just have enough room at the back to add some storage. Now you don't have to add too much. You can go up to around roughly 20,000 storage. I would recommend going up to that if you have the money. And it also depends, guys, as well, what you actually want to do long term in game. If you really want to hit the leaderboard or in game, or if you just want to make a million, a couple million. But with me, I'm actually going over the top and I want to hit on that. I want to get on that leaderboard. To do that, you need at least 2 billion, 2.2 billion. But if I want to get higher, then I'm going to need more money. It's up to you what you want to do. If you want to go like billions or hundreds of millions or just a couple of million just to enjoy the game, it is entirely up to you, guys. And if your rating isn't hitting 5 stars the way it's supposed to, keep looking on what needs to be higher. In my case at the moment, it's cleanliness. So if that is a problem for you guys, don't necessarily be afraid to hire another janitor or another worker if you really need them. For this case, my store definitely needs it. The maximum janitors you should go for is 3 janitors. We will get into the workers though in just a second, but like I was saying earlier, I highly recommend for you to check out the previous video if you want to make the layout for this video. But as the workers work longer in your store, the level of the worker will keep going higher. So that way, the higher the level, the better their performance will be for your store. So they'll be working more efficiently. Sometimes what solves the cleanliness problem is if you add more bins in your store as well. I'm going to choose this wooden one here because it looks a little more decorative. I'm not sure if it costs more money. It probably does, but it's entirely up to you what you want to do. So I'm just going to add a couple bins around my store. You can plan it a lot better than I have, guys. I'm just splatting all the stuff down. If you want to make it all symmetrical and all neat and tidy, you can absolutely do that. I'm going to add 3 janitors because I think at the moment my store needs it. As long as you're making profit, then you're all set. Now for workers, if you're especially more in late game, then I would recommend for you to go for 4 cashiers, 2 restockers, 3 janitors, 1 manager, 4 guards, 2 delivery drivers if you have the 2 helicopters and the 2 helipads, and then 4 finance reps. That's for when you're more in late game and you're more settled and you've got a decent amount of money coming in, especially if you've got a lot more money trees as well. But at the moment, keep it like as you can see here with 2 cashiers, 1 restocker. I've added 3 janitors because I think my store needs it, but if you think that your store only needs 1 or 2, then only add 1 or 2, and then stick with 1 manager, 1 guard, 1 delivery driver, and no finance reps. And while I was prepping it, I actually earned 16 money trees just prepping while I was making this video. Now you can add these trees wherever you want to, but I would recommend just putting them on the roof here. I'm going to change the colour. I'm going to change the colour of them to dark green, and then just place them basically wherever you want to. If you have money trees, if you don't have money trees, that's absolutely fine. But since I have them, I'm going to place them down for more money. So here's a quick rundown of my store currently. So this is what the layout should look like once you are finished. If you want to make it completely different, as in like if you want to add walls all the way around the store, make the store a lot different, you can obviously do that. But the layout, keep the layout just like this, guys, to keep it at its most efficient. Keep getting money, which is really good. What I would recommend for you to do, guys, is to add a couple baskets around your store. I would mainly put them at the start of your store so that the customers can pick them up as soon as they come in the store. I'm going to put a few around the edges of the store. So I'm going to put a couple at the back as well. So this is what the inside of the store looks like. Customize the inside the way you want, the walls the way you want. You can customize like the design the way you want, but like I said, make sure you keep the layout exactly the same, and these borders as well. Make sure you keep all this because that is quite important. What I would also add as well, if you have the money, it is recommended because they are, I think they are more efficient than security cameras. So we're going to quickly add security gates where all the shelving is. These are quite expensive, by the way, so you don't have to go OTT like I am right here, but it is recommended for you to do it if you have the money, so that the robbers don't steal anything from your store and the security guards can arrest them as quickly as they can. So there you go, guys. I think I've showed you everything you guys need to know. If I've missed anything, be sure to let me know, and if you want to know anything, comment it down below as well. I hope this tutorial helps anyone who wants to make lots of money in Retail Tycoon 2 and the layout tutorial. I really hope it does help you guys out. Make sure to like and subscribe for future content just like this, guys, and make sure you have the notification bell on so that you never miss a video anytime I upload. So there you go, guys. So that's it for today's video. Take care and I will see you in the next one. Peace.